Akashawani, Bangalore and Mysore. We now bring you an interview with Sri Baba Amte, the distinguished social worker. The interviewer is Sri S.N. Subbarao.
I'm very happy, Baba, to greet you. The listeners would certainly like to know as much as they can from you. Now, after the International Youth Year, we have passed into the International Peace Year, 1986, as designated by the United Nations. I am sure peace cannot be complete without the total participation of the youths in it. What could there be? What could their contribution be for positive peace?
Even economic prosperity and abundance cannot bring peace in this world. Because we have seen in affluent countries that affluence is bringing boredom. The problem of drug is not in the poor country, it's in the rich countries of the West. Why? Because youths are frustrated. So we are out to say that the morality and unity and peace and contentment cannot be dictated by material things or by legislature or by parliament. Yes. He must be able to give shape to the purpose. He must be able to give direction to his life. He must be able to rationalize his part in this world. Our education has made him very inactive all over the world. And he says to himself that for bringing this situation in this world, I am not responsible. Youth is not responsible. The world leaders who fought First World War, Second World War, and big powers having these Cold Wars, he says, how am I to live in this world? The world made such an ugly thing by these leaders. So he wanted to show sterile protest. In 1950, he organized protests. After 10 years, he organized violent protests in the universities. Then in 6 days, the revolution of Ben Continent youth revolts. Then the academies of the world became very peaceful during this decade. Now we see out of the different thing, aggressive peace, militant peace, invading the world for establishing peace. Gandhi tried to spiritualize politics. We have seen in Gandhi's own country the culture which was very rich, the unity which was very vibrant during the pre-independence struggle. Why it is like this? So he says, I am not responsible for these things. So he also remains as a spectator outside the ring. He always cheers by standing himself on the sidelines, the game for which he is not inclined to play. He becomes umpire of the game which he never played in his life. So he says, it is like this, established like this. He tried to show sterile protest by accepting a hippie cult. No doubt it was an honest protest against the establishment. It was sterile. I will not take bath, I grow hair, I will be unisex. All these things are happening in the world. Now he sees that even the heredity is tampered by science. Test tube babies are there. So he feels that how can there be aristocratic demeanor in the world? How can there be a heredity? How can there be a class or a caste? He now has started to realize that it is an eternal struggle between the need and the greed which is going on within himself. So this is a very hopeful symptom for the world. This unity will be brought into the world not by spiritual leaders alone, not by scientists, because scientists say that science has become a great monster. It has to be. So how to spiritualize science? And I am so sure that this age of terror, this age of violence can be converted into age of compassion and age of peace through spiritualizing science. It can be spiritualized because we have seen even the songster through the means of instant communication organized one program, collected millions of rupees for the dying children of Ethiopia. They were not concerned. There was no color, no caste, no religion, no race, no bond of any. So I think when we see these issues of Star War and Pershing II, we become a little bit nervous. But this is the brilliant side of, of science. Remember, we were taught wrong English that every cloud has a silver lining. Wherever there is silver lining, there are big clouds. Youth must be taught like this. Youth must be taught again that he has to become a jack of all and master of one. Becoming jack of all is a necessity in this cosmic age.
You rightly made the point that every youth thought he was revolting. He thought he was a revolutionary. But then no revolution came. They are still searching for a direction. People would also like to listen to you say a few words about the youth camp experience that you are having, the experiment of the Somnath project, how young people coming from distant places, even cold places, they come and work in the hottest areas, 180 degrees centigrade. Perhaps you could tell a few words about the Somnath experience.
After having regained experience, you have a greater experience than me in youth camps. I realized, after studying the profiles of the minds of the youths who work at us in your youth camps, that they are very keen to establish, which I say, rainbow coalition of conscience. In the rainbow there are vivid joys, 7 colors are there. Like this, the youths must in different spheres come together and establish coalition. And this is possible. But you have to handle this generation. It's highly inflammable generation. But if you understand their heartache, it's very easy to organize them, to channelize them. For example, in one of the international camps which I organized, and when we talked about the heroes of faith with blazing trail in their lives, when we talked about Bhagat Singh Ji and Gandhi Ji, when we talked about Martin Luther King, when we talked about Livingston, I say in their case, can you imagine the hippies celebrating Christmas when they knew that Nietzsche ended his life in a mental hospital, while a carpenter's son is still balancing his life with a seasoned cross in this world, but they believe in righteousness. So youth are not irreligious. I am very happy with them, provided they are handled properly. Yeah, it became a very highly inflammable material. You have to handle it with care. And to organize one camp at one place with all comforts is a different thing. But here, just as I said yesterday, it's a mobile camp where people have cremated their cares and comforts. They have scuttled their career. They say, we will not leave the ship. They will ask everybody to use the life belts, and they will dive with the dying ship. That is how they are taking their own vow. So I am very happy. I am very optimistic.
Now, perhaps a last word about the general impression. You can say a message for young people.
The message to the youth of the whole world. The hands are given not for burning, but for building. Unfortunately, the youth all over the world are building walls instead of bridges. They must follow true happiness, and happiness is described by me as continuous creative activity. They must have involvement, not only loud enough, but deep enough. They must have a vision, passion, compassion, and conviction. Then alone their vision can walk afoot with them.
We are all thankful to you that you could spare so much time in the midst of all your hectic schedule.
I am really thankful to establish not only a report, this intense conversation with the youthful world through this medium.
That was an interview with Sri Baba Amte, the distinguished social worker, interviewed by Sri S.N. Subra. This broadcast came to you from Akashvani, Bangalore.